welcome to West Country Wanderings and welcome for another Cotswold walk. Cotswold walk number 2, a circular walk today. We're here at the railway station at Kingham, just to show you that you can come here if you're around this area via public transport. You don't always have to drive. We're going to do a walk starting at the little village of Bledington, which is less than a mile from the station here. Kingham lies on the Cotswold line between Oxford and Worcester, so you've got direct connections if you live in London and the South East to Kingham, and why not join me here on West Country Wanderings for a delightful walk by the River Evenlode. Just from a railway perspective, Kingham was once a junction station. In fact, the line between Cheltenham and Banbury, which connects up with the Oxford to Birmingham main line, went through Kingham station. So in it, at one time you would have been able to change trains at Kingham, bring up a service from Paddington and catch a train across to Bourton-on-the-Water. Sadly you can't do that these days, and you can't go in the other direction either, but it's still a delightful station here. I mean, this is an extremely rural area. There's no other buildings around here. Kingham village, which we will see later on our walk today, is about 1.5 miles from here, and Bledington is about 3/4 of a mile. But it's great that this station is here to avoid people having long drives to the next nearest station. But as I say, there's frequent train service up to Worcester and into Great Malvern and Hereford, and also down to Oxford, and then ends into the South East, which is way out of my area. The other thing to note today is that I'm doing the Cotswold River Walk book again, so Colin Handy, and we'll be doing the walk along the River Evenlode and following that, and also be using the OS map, of course. And also in there, behind me, you can actually see the original platforms from when this was once a junction railway on the Cotswold line main line. So I'm now in the village of Bledington, and I'll just do a spin round, show you some shots here. Beautiful village green right in front of I think it's called the King's Head pub. So a beautiful spot with a little stream running through, which is obviously a little tributary of the Evenlode, which we'll come up to shortly. I think the Evenlode used to be called the River Break back in the 19th century, and I think it's a derivative break how you ended up with the name Bledington. Not quite sure how it came across that, but yeah. Just to point out that I'm currently here in Bledington in the county of Gloucestershire. And when I did the piece to camera at the start of the video at Kingham Station, I was actually in Oxfordshire. So a big welcome to Oxfordshire on the county. That's the first time that I've been in Oxfordshire on West Country Wanderings. As I said before, that I go as east of the city of Oxford. I probably won't cover Oxford itself because it's been done loads of times on YouTube, and also it's a little bit built up and very busy. It's a beautiful city, but not really one that I will cover on my channel here on West Country Wanderings. But I will cover the portion of Oxfordshire called West Oxfordshire, and that of course lies or covers part of the Cotswolds, and that will be the area of interest for us. So today we're starting off in Gloucestershire. We'll then be following the River Evenlode. So I'll stick up the map now so you can see where we're going. So we're following the line as from the walk that's in the book. I'm expecting it to get quite muddy because obviously the heavy rains that we've had with the 3 storms that I mentioned back on the Ross on Wye vlog, and then we're going to be then crossing over back into Oxfordshire to then join up with the village of Kingham, which does lie in the county beginning with O. So it's a tale of 2 counties here today on West Country Wanderings. I hope you can join me for this walk here. We enjoyed that little tour of the beautiful village of Bledington here in eastern part of the county of Gloucestershire. We're now heading in the easterly thing. It's usually west on my channel, so we're heading in an easterly direction, but we will be heading west to get back, because this is a circular walk. Heading out of the village now in an easterly direction and towards the River Evenlode. It's also still beautiful here. We've got more farm buildings now this part of the village here. But it is beautifully quiet here. Really enjoying the day. It's a nice and sunny day. As I said, we've had 3 storms gone through. They've now all gone now. But yeah, it's a beautiful day here. So this walk today is taken from Colin Handy's book, Cotswold River Walks. In fact, it's the only walk in the book. I think there's 15, 16 walks in the book. They're all circular walks. And so we did the Windrush one last time. This is the only one that covers the River Evenlode. Now, I don't know a great deal about the Evenlode. As I say, all I do know is it rises near the town of Moreton-in-Marsh, just a few miles to the north of me here. If you're not familiar with Moreton-in-Marsh, it lies at a junction of several major towns. It lies on the Foss Way, which is the road which goes up from the south, effectively from Bath, but it cuts through Cirencester and it heads its way north through Moreton up towards Stratford, Warwick, that area, and then it continues on. It goes on to Leicester and beyond. It's a great straight road. It also intersects with other roads going across the way. It's also on the Cotswold line, which we saw earlier, Kingham, so you can catch a train from Kingham here up to Moreton-in-Marsh. And it has the fire training school. I think it's the fire training school for the whole of the country. I think I'm right in saying that. If anybody correct me, please drop a comment below, which I do believe the site, I think it's a former RAF airfield, as these things often are, to the right of the town. And it includes a motorway and a railway line. And obviously that's so they could do setups, exercises where you have like people rescuing people from railway carriages and from cars and lorries on a made up motorway. I'm not sure if they ever filmed there. There is another one of those type of things near Yate where there was a motorway or bypass never completed. I know Casualty have filmed that quite a few times. But yeah, that's the town of Moreton-in-Marsh. We will go up that way at some point, not too distant future. Obviously that lies in Gloucestershire and the Cotswolds, so that's not far away from here. But the Evenlode rises near there. I think it's slightly to the east and north of the town of Moreton-in-Marsh, and it makes its way down through the borders of Gloucestershire and West Oxfordshire, and eventually ends up in the River Thames. I think the length of the river is something like around about 40-45 miles long. I'll put in the exact length and any more details I've got about the Evenlode. As I say, I haven't done tons of research today. I just wanted to come and see how this walk takes me, just to follow the route that's in the book and just see what we see together here on West Country Wanderings. Now, in Colin Handy's book, before the start of this walk, he does indeed warn you that part of this walk is like walking through a paddy field, and that's exactly the case. And I did expect it because, of course, we have had a lot of rain here towards the end of February, mid-February. It's been very wet, and yeah, it definitely is wet. So if you're coming on this walk, particularly this time of year, maybe not in the height of the summer when it's dried out a bit, make sure you've got some waterproof boots with either well waxed or indeed Wellingtons to complete the walk here today. Now, this walk actually crosses over the former track bed of the line between Cheltenham and Banbury. So in that direction there would be Bourton-on-the-Water. That would be the first station that would have come on this line. And in that direction there, if I carried on down that way, I'd end up back at Kingham station again, where this line crossed over the Cotswold line between Worcester and Oxford, then continue its way across to the Oxford, Banbury and Birmingham line. Alas, it's no more. I think it closed in the 1960s. I'll put in the exact date of this line closure in round about now. I've just made a little diversion here. I've just walked down, well, not a quarter of a mile, probably an eighth of a mile in the direction of Kingham. Sorry, the sun's in my eyes, very bright. I don't want to knock it there because it's a fantastic day. I'm actually standing on a bridge which is over the River Evenlode. This is our first sight of the River Evenlode. I'll just drop in a shot of that now. And obviously this bridge would have been built for the railway to carry it from Cheltenham to Banbury. So that goes over that way, and as I say, it's a beautiful river, very, very similar to the Windrush. There is a light, slight milky colour to it, which, because there's been a lot of runoff because of the amount of rain that we have. But we'll just have a look at that now. Now I need to do a little bit of research when I get home, because there's like a culvert there and an embankment, and I'm not sure if the line actually split at this point, if there was a little junction there and a spur going off that way. I don't know. If anybody watching this knows, please let me know in the comments, and if I find out, I'll drop it in as a subtitle below now. So if nothing appears, you know I can't find anything about it, but if you do know, it splits here. So we're just outside the village of Bledington, between Bledington and Kingham. I'd love to know what happened to the railway here between Cheltenham and Banbury. Now I have just checked the OS map again. You can see clearly the route of the old railway. I'll drop that in now, and what looks like happened at this point, the line did split. Well, it does actually split there where I need to be in a moment for it to cross over the track to go round and follow the River Evenlode, and it looks like the upper portion perhaps went on a flyover or a bridge above the main Worcester to Oxford line, so it didn't actually meet the railway on the level to avoid locking it up in terms of signalling. And obviously the bit behind me was the spur that actually physically joined the Cotswold line. I think that bit would have headed south down to Oxford, but if you've got any more information or know more about it, then I'd love to hear from you. Now the bridge I just include a clip of now is the bridge we'll be going over on the route back. So this is the point where it splits, so we're heading north now to Kingham, and we'll be coming back that way across the Evenlode. It was a little bit tricky and muddy there. What I actually did to get round the worst of the mud is I went back up into the upper part of the old railway line, the one that went on the flyover over the Oxford Worcester, and then went through some trees and kind of skipped around the worst of the mud because it is very, very boggy there. But on a little bit of higher ground here, though, I can see that the Evenlode is using up its floodplain ahead of me, and a load of birds are taking advantage of it, so we'll have a look at that now. Now I now have the Worcester Oxford main railway line behind me. In fact, when this I think it's kind of the acronym, the old worse and worse. I'm not sure how bad it was in those days. I think it's quite a fast and frequent, reliable service nowadays, take you over to Worcester and Hereford. But that was an acronym. But when it was built, the engineers actually utilised the River Evenlode in its lowest section of the railway, below the town of Morton in Marsh, all the way to Oxford. Obviously it's a flat geographical feature, so they didn't have to use tunnels or cuttings to get the railway through to the city of Oxford. So we have the beautiful River Evenlode just behind me here, just snaking its way around the valley of the Evenlode, and it's in a horseshoe pattern, but it does that all the way up, presumably to its source, or down from its source, because obviously it's flowing down towards the River Thames. But it's looking delightful, particularly with the sky, blue sky today, reflecting in the water surface here. Now, I won't lie to you guys and gals, the last part of this walk here, well, not the last, we haven't finished the walk, we're only not even halfway around, but the last section has been extremely challenging, as you'll see from the clip just insert now, around that flooded kissing gate. There's been at least 3 or 4 like that. I've had to kind of climb over the adjacent fence and battle through the briars, and then there's been some very muddy sections. At the moment my feet are feeling a little bit damp. I think it came over my socks at one point because of the depth of the water here. So yeah, if you're planning to do this walk, it is beautiful, don't get me wrong, it is very, very beautiful, but I would allow at least a couple of months for this field to dry out, or this path, should I say, footpath to dry out, to make it a more pleasant experience. But yeah, you have to take the rough with the smooth here on West Country Wanderings. It's a challenge, but the positive is it's a beautiful day. I'm in the fantastic fresh air. Got the River Evenlode, got the Cotswolds over there, and we're going to head to a beautiful village, so it's all good in that respect. Hopefully with the wind and the sun out, I should soon dry off, so I just need to either brush my trousers or put them down to wash when I get home. But yeah, it's that was difficult, and of course it's like walking in porridge at some point. It's very, very heavy going, but we're now going to be joining up with the Diamond Way. I don't know what the Diamond Way is. It's obviously a national trail, medium distance trail of some kind, and I'll put that description when we join that shortly in the usual way in the subtitles below. Well, I wouldn't lie to you, I've just had a horrendous experience. I've just fallen over in the mud. Literally my legs were flying everywhere to keep upright, and there's just a section where there was just so much mud I couldn't keep myself upright, and I landed well on my side. Thankfully no injuries done, I'm still in one piece and camera's still working, thank God. So we will continue our journey to Kingham. We've crossed over the Evenlode now, so we're just about to cross over the Wolverhampton, Oxford and Worcester line. That's why it was WOW, worse and worse. That's where the acronym comes from. But yeah, we're just crossing over that now, and we should be heading into Kingham before too long. Now just behind me over the horizon is Daylesford Farm. Daylesford Farm is probably one of the top, if not the top, farm shop in the Cotswolds. It's quite a select, should I say, produce that they sell there, most of it grown locally in Gloucestershire and Oxfordshire. So I've now arrived at the delightful and honey-coloured stoned village of Kingham. We're about probably a mile from where we started the video at the station, and Bledington is about a mile and a half, 2 miles away from this village. I've just had my lunch, just recovered from that fall over in the mud. It is starting to dry now, so I can brush it off, but a bit of a state, but that's the way it goes sometimes. What I'm going to do now I've just recovered and had a sandwich, fueled up some water, I'm going to do a tour of this beautiful village here for you in the Cotswolds, which lies just in West Oxfordshire. So I'll do some video and also some photographs for you. Hope you enjoy it. Well, I hope you enjoyed that tour at the beautiful Cotswold village of Kingham in West Oxfordshire. And now going to start heading back to the village of Bledington even, where we started our circular walk around the River Evenlode today. Now, because it was so muddy on the River Evenlode, I've decided to come the roadway back, which will take us right past the station again here at Kingham, just to avoid that mud. I really don't want to slip up over again, but see you in a bit. So yeah, this is a super circular walk, or rather it would be if the ground wasn't so soggy. So I do recommend that before you come here, you check the ground has dried out, and then you'll have a better experience lighted, and you'll stand less chance of slipping up on the mud. Just coming in front of me, it looks like a hotel called the Mill House. It's not open for just for meals or for drinks, but I think it's quite a well-known accommodation hostelry. I'll check that out and put it in the bottom. Now, there's 2 pubs in Kingham as well, and I know that one of them, I'm not sure which one, is also Michelin starred. It has a Michelin trained chef. I'll put the details about that below as well. Next point, we're actually crossing over the River Evenlode again. So to complete our circuit, we crossed over it before, or rather you probably didn't see that because I was covered in mud and I couldn't touch the camera. So apologies for that. It was a newish wooden bridge in the floodplain here. But here it is in its glory. So I'll just finish with some final shots of the Evenlode before we head back to Bledington. So just to include a clip, I've just gone over a railway bridge, but not the Oxford-Worcester main line we saw at the start of the video, but one of the branches. Now, I spoke about the branch that went on towards Cheltenham via Bolton-on-the-Water, and this is the other arm of that. Just goes underneath the road here, back to Kingham Station, and that was the bit that went on from Kingham and continued on to the Oxford-Banbury line. In actual fact, it joined up with the Banbury line just south of Banbury at a place called King Sutton, which also currently has a station, and it also included a station at the town of Chipping Norton. I'm sure Chipping Norton will be included at some point on one of my videos here on West Country Wanderings. So here we are back in the village of Bledington. There we go, there's the spelling. I'm just going to make my way round now back to the village square where we started our circular walk today, and say a final piece to camera there for you, and we'll probably do a couple of snippets around that beautiful village as well. Just in front of me. Yeah, so we have some remains there of the storm damage Eunice or Franklin, or the one before that, Dudley, wasn't it? That was it, Dudley, D-E-F. So the next one presumably will be beginning with G. Hopefully that's not for some time. Anyway, see you in a bit. And also here, another sign just to let you know we're now back in the county of Gloucestershire. Well, I hope you enjoyed that tour here in the northern part of the Cotswolds. I'll drop in the details of Colin Handy's book and the map, so say we're between the towns of Stow-on-the-Wold and Chipping North and doing the circular walk around the River Evenlode. If you do like that sort of Cotswold walk, then please hit the subscribe and the bell, then YouTube will tell you when the number 3 of my Cotswold Walk series comes along here on West Country Wanderings. There'll be other content on my channel. In fact, if you have a look at my last monthly vlog for the month of February, it'll tell you about what's coming up on my channel for March, all sorts of different things here on the channel. If you enjoyed it today, or if you've done walks in the Cotswolds or any other areas, then please consider a comment or a like below. Perhaps share it with your friends and family if you're interested in doing walks in the Cotswolds. Until next time, take care of yourselves, look after yourselves, and I hope to see you on West Country Wanderings again very, very soon. All the best. Cheers. Goodbye.